again with Double Talk. I'm Hannah. And I'm Kaylin. After setting out to make a full-length feature film for fun on the weekends with her friends, first-time director Micaela Wittman ended up with a lot more than she bargained for. The film, which she also stars in, follows Claire Rivers, a girl who hires a camera crew to document her journey as she attempts to reach spiritual enlightenment, and has been met with rave reviews by critics who called the surprise hit bitingly funny and surprisingly poignant. Now, rights to the film that Micaela still can't even believe is real has been acquired by Gravitas Ventures, and the young filmmaker's career is taking off. We caught up with Micaela to talk about metaphysical gurus, scam artists, and mental health. Listen in. One of my favorite things about this movie is your process and your story behind making it. It's so interesting. I saw on Instagram, you said that you thought of it as like this little movie that you were just working on the weekends, and now it's like this, it's got rave reviews, it's got picked up by a distributor. Can you just tell us more about your process behind making it, and then when it was finished, how you went about getting it in front of other people?
When I first started making Clairevoyant, I kind of just thought, and it sounds crazy looking back, like it was such a stupid idea, but it was just going to be like a 2-day shoot, and I was just going to invite like all my actor friends over to my house, and just like I was just going to set them up, just like an interview like how we're doing right now. Like I was just going to pick one part of the house and just like a rotating door, have everyone come in and out and shoot it in a couple hours. But once I like started building the story, obviously I realized that thematically that wouldn't be enough for a 2-hour feature. So yeah, we kind of just started expanding it from there, and I really only shot it over the weekends whenever I had free time. So yeah, it was an easy breezy shoot that ended up being a full-length feature. It was really, really fun. My co-director, co-writer, Arthur De La Roche, his previous film, he got it with Gravitas and Myriad. So when we were finished with Clairevoyant, we were just able to reach out and say, are you interested? And then they responded like fairly quickly, which was a good sign, and then they took it.
Is it a lot of back and forth between you and the distributor, or is it kind of like they take the wheel at that point, or how does that work?
As long as they say yes to you, it's not so much back. The back and forth is when you're like hounding them to accept the film, when you're just like reaching out,
got it.
Please distribute this. But they said yes pretty quickly. So it all like, I think from the time that they said, yeah, we'll distribute Clairevoyant, I think it was out like a month and a half after that. Like it really didn't take that long.
That's insane. Good for you. Because like I said, it's so good. And it's funny because you watch all the characters as they come along, and like all the spiritual characters come across as so like disingenuous, and it's almost like Claire is the most grounded out of all of them, even though like right away when you meet the character she doesn't seem that way. Why do so many people get into a field like that when they don't actually have, it's not actually in their heart, and like they're not actually into it? Or at least that's how it seems. Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe they just come across that way, but they really feel it. It is a zany group of people, I guess. Yeah. I mean, we would know we're really into like crystals and stuff like that.
I mean, I don't think anyone sets out in life and they're like, I'm gonna be a scam artist. Like that sounds fun. I think that it is. I think it comes from a genuine place, and then it just kind of snowballs. I mean, it's not like there's any qualifications that are required to get into the field. So you maybe just have like one life experience that makes you feel like you would be qualified to teach it. And some people are, you know, spirituality is like, it's hard to pinpoint. Like I do know some people who are like, I guess very like, they're experts in the realm of spirituality, and the only thing that qualified them was the fact that they lived life and they just have an understanding of it. But yeah, I don't think that they meant to be scam artists. I think that they just kind of like took it further than they should have, I guess, if that makes sense.
There seems to be like a fascination. There's something about, I think, mockumentaries that really grabs people. I mean, The Office is obviously a really famous example of something that everybody watched. I mean, especially in quarantine, it's almost like an escape type show, watching that sort of thing. So there's something about them. What do you think that something is?
I don't know. It's such a great comedic delivery device. I think it's incredible. Like you could take a moment that's not that funny on its own, and you just like add a camera zoom, a quick pan, and suddenly there's so much, it's so dynamic. I don't know. Like I that's a great question. I literally don't know the answer to. But you're right. Like mockumentaries are such a good medium. I don't know, they just make everything, I think they make it feel real, probably.
Why do you think that people turn to the metaphysical world when they're really struggling? Do you think it really is like a last ditch thing, or just they genuinely have that hope that this is going to be the thing that changes their lives?
I think it's interesting because going on the exaggerated spiritual journey that she did, she actually did end up finding a middle ground that helped her. Like she actually did end up learning something that she could take away into real life. So, I mean, I am a very spiritual person. Like, I'm not too spiritual, but I think I have like a connection to the ether and stuff like that in a very simple way. And I think that living a good life and being in touch with your spiritual side, I do think that they often go hand in hand, you know, so long as you're not like paying out the butt for like workshops and stuff. You probably don't need that, but I do think that they go hand in hand.
Is there something that you would want us to like either learn or just generally take away from the character of Claire and that journey that she goes on?
God, I mean, I shouldn't prop her up on a pedestal as like some idol, because obviously like, she's a mess. But I think it's really important that she put herself out there and was willing to look stupid. I mean, I don't think she knew that she was looking stupid in the moment, but she did, and she still went out and put the documentary out there, you know, within the world of the film, and that's ultimately brave. So I think that there's a little something sweet there with her just being willing to look really stupid and do it anyway.
You know, just watching her journey, I mean, she got scammed over and over again, and she kept being told things by people who actually made her feel worse. But then at the end of it all, she comes out a happier person. What changed her perspective in that whole journey?
The conclusion that we settled on was that Claire in universe was the one to edit the film. So she was watching all the footage back and looking at all of her blunders, and she just sat with the footage for however long it takes to edit a movie, which I mean, I was the one editing it, so it took like probably actually 6 months. And yeah, it was actually our friend, we had a screening with our friend before we released it, and he was like, she seems like she's doing really well suddenly, like you should say that 6 months went by. So he was the one who gave us the idea to say like 6 months later, so there's some sort of transition there. But yeah, I think she watched herself back, and that's really when all the learning came in.